No, it makes it go around you.
I just want to make sure everybody's getting a good view of it.
Were you ready?
Yeah.
Are we? You ready?
Yeah, we're all set.
Yeah. 208
Just trying to get some skills.
accrued
Thank you.
annually. You're right, the jailers within 12-hour shifts. Okay, okay. That's it. Well,
Yeah. I don't want to interrupt
the
them.
12-hour shift is what's doing that.
Recording conversation.
Well, don't do that.
Yeah.
Is there a better way? Go around the curve where the cameras can't catch you.
I don't know.
Y'all about ready?
Well, we're just waiting on you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I've been holding them off over here, sir.
I really appreciate it. Thank you all very much. Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, August 22nd, 2022. The time is 9:08 a.m. I'm going to call this special called meeting, the B County Commissioners Court, to order. We're physically located at B County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi Street, Beeville, Texas, 78102. That was the call to order. Would everybody please rise and join Pastor Maggie Mossler in a prayer?
Most high and all-loving God, before we begin today's work, we pause to give you thanks. You are the source of life and love, hope and peace, and we thank you for the fresh start and possibility of this new day. We recognize your care for creation, and we pray that all of us, especially these, your servants, would join in loving this county we call home, just as you love this place and people. Give our leaders your justice and righteousness, your wisdom and your courage. Help this Commissioner's Court to listen, first of all, to you, to the whole community, and to one another. Help them to amplify the voices of those in our community who are the most vulnerable and rarely heard. As we seek to live as good neighbors, as familia together, we pray for their families. We lift up each agenda item. We pray that we live united as your beloved community. Bless all of us who call B County home, and help us join you in making B County a healthy and flourishing home for all. We pray for your blessings on our schools, for their safety, and for the ultimate purpose of educating our students to be productive citizens. Grant these, your servants in this room today, everything they need, most of all, servants' hearts, that they would fulfill their important role in your making our county a better home for all of us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the Texas pledge. Honor
Honor
the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you all. Congratulations are in order. I did get to do that without any, thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you. Did good. Okay, this is agenda item number 4, where we recognize visitors. This isn't public comment. Are there any visitors who would like to identify themselves for the record? There's no pressure and no necessity, and if you don't want to, or if you do, regardless, thank you all for being here this morning.
What does it get you to, recognize yourself?
You get, the adulation from us for a brief moment.
I'm a visitor. Hey, my name's Rick McCollum. I live at 4865 Taylor Drive. Retired in, I guess, 2008. Come down here to see how our government works, listen to a couple of the reports, learn a little bit, you know, and then we'll just take it from there. I see this as, is that the podium that, if you make comments?
Yes, that would be the public comment.
I'll pick up as time goes on.
Okay, no worries, and thank you
Thanks
for
for
being
having
here. Yeah, welcome. Come back often.
I don't know if you'll say that.
Mr. Olivares, nice to see you again, sir. Anybody else? All right, welcome, everybody. Thank you. Moving on, agenda item number 5, Commissioners Court, opening remarks. Commissioner Haggard, are you first?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take it. Well, I got a call last week, it seems that Tynan Water Supply Board has issued with some more sand coming through their well and getting into the tank, not to the point that it has shut down the system, but to the point that it has clouded the water and created a boil request in Tynan. I reached out, and I want to thank Ryan Garza wholeheartedly for jumping right in the middle of it and making many meetings. Tynan Water, Tynan Fire Department individual, Mr. Cave, was another one who jumped in and was going to help with water. The judge was instrumental in trying to see what we could do to push forward. Also, I contacted Beeville and Water Supply Boards and talked to them. Everybody's working together. I have included J.M. Lozano because there is a workable grant that's an emergency workable grant right now of about $50,000, which would help them prolong and move forward on their project till everything gets approved from their basic big grant that they have. I've got a hold of J.M. Lozano. He's going to look into it from there. I'm also trying to currently trying to get a hold of Mida Flores. I contacted her director. Unfortunately, he had surgery the same day I tried to contact him. So he put me in touch with another gentleman who's I'm waiting to call on that one. Had an individual, Mr. Andrew, and I remember his last name, right? Walls. Mr. Walls called about Pavlich Road. And again, you know, when it rains, it gets fairly deep over there. He contacted me. I contacted Ray. Ray spent about half a day with him, talking to him. They had a lot of issues to talk about. I will admit, I will tell you this. I saw the work that's being done on the Parlo Ranch as far as the ditching and everything else that needs to be done. The water moves very quickly now. It's looking really good. There's still more work that needs to be done, and Ray's staying on top of that. He's adding culverts where it needed to be. So we're doing a lot of that. Last but not least, I want to make a comment on the last meeting. We had a lady and Mr. Stark had come up and asked about the dog situation, the stray dog situation in Skidmore. It is equally as, what should I say? It's equally as big a problem in Tynan as it is in Skidmore. Probably more so in Tynan because it's a lot smaller. However, I just want to comment. I agree that shooting dogs is not the way to go, and I understand that. There should be better ways of doing this. But I think instead of trying to create something to take care of the stray animals, we need to go back on the people that make stray animals. I fortunately raised 3 children that begged and pleaded to have dogs. Dad, I'll take care of them. I'll feed them. I'll wash them. That didn't happen. But they all grew up to die of old age for whatever reason. Never once were they abused, beaten, nothing. And I think that's what the problem is. Everybody wants to buy them a puppy, and everybody needs to understand a puppy grows up to be a dog. And of course, families and friends are like, oh yeah, he's a cute puppy and everything, until he becomes a problem to feed, water, and take care of. And so, yeah, it's an issue all through the county. This is not an issue that is new to us. It won't be new to Mr. Oliveris. There'll be numerous calls also, because when I first took office, it was dogs and dirt 12 years ago. And that's all I had to deal with was dogs and dirt. And we had several meetings with the communities and explained to them. Commissioner DeWitt was very instrumental in coming together with me and explaining it takes a lot of money to take care of dogs when you start doing that. So we'll just see. That was my comment on the dogs. I mean, again, I agree with the individuals that were here that we need to do something about it. However, you know, understand it takes money to do that. So I think we need to address the issue with the people that want to buy puppies. So, and that's all I have, and I'll refer to my colleague.
My week last week was spent at the tax office for one with maintenance. We're trying to still straighten out the camera issue and then some of the problems with it. So they sheetrocked that corner for the people wait because it was real dark to help light up the background for the cameras that are coming in. So maintenance is doing that. Thank you, John. You got right on it. They're doing a good job over there. So we've got that working on. We had a Zoom meeting for the Blanconia because there was no no contractors had bid on it, so we're trying to do is just a hire out to see what, FEMA will approve. So that was done last week. And I also attended a barbecue lunch for, Christus Spawn. They were celebrating their test scores, as you would. They did really, really good on all their testing this past month, and, they came out with shiny colors there. So that was real good. That was my week.
That's great, thank you both.
Commissioner DeWitt?
Thank you, Judge. Didn't have a whole lot, but my list has gotten longer since I was listening to the other commissioners. First thing.
Did I
I'm sorry,
institute a
Judge.
limit on the amount of
I truly apologize.
Yeah, thanks.
From the
We
bottom
can
of
talk
my
later, we can talk later.
I just, want to appreciate all the rain we've gotten in North Lee County. I know it's not as much as they've had in Papalote. The mosquitoes down there are the size of buzzards, but, we appreciate the water. We have two big checks that are outstanding that are due into the county, we hope soon. One of them is a little over $3 million from the, American Rescue Plan for our next tranche. The second one is the $78,000 from Orsted for our project in Mineral. We're ready to go with it, but we need the money in the bank before we can go out for bids and proposals. What I added to my list this morning was the dogs. And dogs are a problem everywhere in B County. We have a situation in Pettus where a dog bit a child going to school. It's a pretty serious situation because when the deputies and all went to contact the people that own the dog, they sent me a picture of the dog. And dogs are dogs, but this is an evil-looking dog. It looks evil. And it's an alpha dog, and it's in charge, and appropriate action will be taken, but we're having trouble with dogs everywhere. And what Commissioner Haggard was referring to, we did a study several years ago about, okay, county's going to get in the dog pound business. That's great. First thing you have to have is a state-approved dog pound, which is going to cost about $400,000. Then you have to have the staff to operate it. You have to have the rolling stock. We're talking probably $750,000 to get in the dog pound business. And the other side of the coin is, oh, you know what? You can't. It's grandfathered in. They start taking dogs outside of the city limits, they have to invoke state rules and update their dog pound to current regulations, which means they have to build this $400,000 pound. Right now, their system is grandfathered. It's ancient, but it works. So the court is aware of the dog problem in B County, and I echo Commissioner Haggard's sentiments. It's the people's responsibility. I just rescued a dog at the ranch a few weeks ago that someone turned loose out there. It's happening and yes, it's called Chuppy. And because it looked like a chupacabra when I got it. Anyway, we all have sympathy for these critters. With that, I'm going to pass my right. I'm going to stop right there. Yeah, thank you, Chuppy.
Right, turn the bell go off.
Oh, shoot.
Few things. Want to thank Fred Marone with Dolly Radio Station. He had put on a block party and had food trucks come in, several different bands come in, and it was open free to the public. It was a cool event and a very successful one. Also, got with Ray on some road issues, and also want to thank the city of Beeville. There was where Vigo Road comes onto 59 West. It was a really bad spot. The city's been working on some water stuff there in the past, and after that rain, it was horrible. So I talked to Ray by that afternoon, or that morning rather, they went out there and took the leaching down, and the next morning they went and actually paved it. So thanks, Ray, and thanks to the city. Also, I've been working with the city on an issue with these food trucks, and waiting on the city to do a reciprocity agreement, which once they do that, then I'll bring it to the court and we'll get that taken care of. Got with Robbie on some illegal dumping and whatnot, and we are actually, Robbie really, we're going out to these illegal dumping sites, and Robbie is actually finding proof of who did this, whether they're leaving a receipt or whatnot with their name on it, stuff like that. And we have started, calling these people out on social media, and it seems to be working. Like, of course, we block out the address, any, information like that, but just the name. And I know Robbie's had several people call him and, about, because they've been called out on it. These people don't want to be called out. So the more that happens, the less likely that they're going to continue doing that, or they're going to spread the word to their friends, hey, don't be illegally dumping. They're going to catch you, and they're going to embarrass you. And so also what we've been doing is, that leads, like, this next Saturday, we're going to have a big cleanup on West Corpus Christi and in Blueberry Hill. And, like, what we're doing is telling these people that we actually catch with proof, is like, look, we're going to have a cleanup on such and such date. You can come out and help. It'd be, highly advisable to come out and participate in the cleanup. And if not, then I think probably what he's going to do is going to start turning these names in to the judge and let it go from there. But give them an opportunity to come and clean up first. So, like I said, August the 27th, next Saturday, big cleanup on West Corpus Christi and Blueberry Hill, and then we're going to do a big hot dog hamburger event there at the Ranch House barbecue place, free to the entire public. So, yeah. But that is all I got. Thank you, Commissioner Lenny.
Judge, if I could, one last, just very short.
That's a dangerous precedent for
No.
sure. We'll roll the dice.
Got a call this morning from Veronica, the auditor's office. The auction that we had at the Toledo Street Jail, I'll make sure that's, you guys know, ascertained about $6,000 currently. And there's still some out that hasn't been picked up yet. That's only phase one. So, we're still moving forward on that one, so I just wanted to give you an update on that.
Thank you so much, that's great. Okay, two things. One, last week I spent the first part of the week in Bee Caves, Texas, doing some judicial training for an impaired driving seminar. It was really great, and I thought it was very useful, but it was hard to be out of pocket for a couple days. And secondly, I believe it was last week, there was a newspaper article on the Orsted check and on the bus stop that Commissioner DeWitt's been shepherding and cheerleading and championing, and I think really actually creating the whole concept to begin with. So good job to that. But it bears clarification for anybody that may be watching, or for the record, for anybody that may want to lodge some sort of challenge in the future. The Beeville Bee unit unfortunately got the facts a little bit wrong. The process of determining how this bus stop is going to be built will comply with all Texas law regarding the bid process. Our auditor's office, in conjunction, I believe, with, is it Road Bridge or is it Maintenance? Road Bridge is putting together the components and the specifics for that bid package. When that bid package goes out, the bid will go to the best submittal from anybody near or far. Commissioner's Court and the auditor's office and our bid review committee always takes these matters very seriously, reviews all of the bids that are received in the sealed bid process with due diligence and regard for the various benefits and potential drawbacks of each bid that is submitted. And then even with their recommendation, this entire Commissioner's Court makes its own independent decision over who will win that bid process. There's no reason to minimize or to otherwise underscore the value that one local entity, Tyndall Construction, has provided in the course of this process. But it is important for the public to understand that this is a sealed bid process due to the amount of the project, and the county is going to follow all of the laws with respect to the bid process, regardless of what may be unintentionally reported by the local media. And so that kind of stuff happens. It's really not a big deal. We just thought it was prudent to make sure that we as the county make that clarification. That's all I have. If there's nothing further, okay, good, there's nothing further, then we'll move on to agenda item number 6, public comment. Are there any members of the public who wish to address Commissioner's Court? Mr. McCollum, did you have?
I have a question. I was waiting to listen to the, departmental reports. Is that, you go around the room and?
No, not really. I mean, so, I tell you what, there's really no, public input when we get into the agenda items. And public comment isn't a question and answer process. It's an opportunity for you to tell us whatever it is that you want to tell us within reason. But if immediately after the meeting, if you'd like to, talk to me, and I'm happy to listen to any questions.
So you can't ask a question in this, it's just you?
Correct, yes, sir. Yeah, the questions are for Commissioner's Court, yes, sir.
No question?
No, the questions would be for Commissioner's Court.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, maybe I'll start then.
Okay.
First time guy, if I make a
Come on up,
mistake,
yeah, absolutely. It's no problem.
If I offend anyone, you know, so to speak, I'll. Actually, thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you for being here.
If I do something,
Yeah.
like I said,
We can't respond. We can't respond.
But you do need to identify yourself for the clerk. She needs your
Okay.
full name.
I did that one time before. My name is Rick McCollum. I live at 4865 Taylor Drive, Beeville, Texas, 78102. And I will submit to anything short of waterboarding. My comments are today, I was hoping to listen to the, road report, what's the road bridge, whatever. But what I'm here to comment about is the road out there on Oak Hill Drive, okay? Just to bring some attention, and again, if I'm talking to the wrong venue, I'm hoping that I could go to a planning meeting and talk with those guys. But maybe you'll, after today, you'll enlighten me a little bit.
Yes.
And, Rick, I live on Taylor Drive, but Oak Hill Drive is a concern. That place, the road has deteriorated for years, okay? I've lived there now for 18 years. And I've been told over the years, you know, and don't get me wrong, I know the road folks do a lot of good work. And I'll tell you, before I get even any further in one of my notes here, I want to talk about how good the people that pick up the brush in this county are. I'm telling you, you have two people there. One drives the pickup with the pincher blade, and the other one drives the truck, and they probably do more work than 10 people in any other government organization. And I tell her that we got a little area down there on the other side of the state road, and the community uses it. We all just pile it up there, and you call, and within a couple of weeks, they come and get that brush and stuff. And my hat's off to whoever their supervisor is, and I tell her that every time I call and talk to them. So, anyway, back to the road. It hasn't been resurfaced. I think that's why I wanted to talk to someone in the planning section. There has to be some type of big plan in the county where, you know, roads deteriorate. I understand that they could get resurfaced from time to time. And I was told it was 10 years that a road gets resurfaced. Now, it may not need it, then you wouldn't do it. I can understand that. But we have a road there that's got actually 3 layers. You can see when you drive down Oak Hill Drive, you can see 3 different layers of road that's been there from one time or another, you see? And see, once you have that opening, and then you get the water in there, the water intrusion, then it starts chipping off on the edges, and if you ever want to drive out there, go check it out. Once it starts crumbling on the edges, you know, it just works its way in toward the middle. And that's what we have there. So 3 or 4 years ago, they were going to resurface that, okay? They went down to grader. I complained before. I've complained this about 3 times, maybe 4. They graded it all off, okay, in preparation to put the new surface down. Well, then we quit. We didn't go any further. Maybe ran out of money, I don't know, okay? And it was left that way until a lot of complaints to fill the patches, okay? And then we all know what happens with that. So that's what I'm asking about. I wanted to talk to someone. Is there like a 5-year plan? Is there a 10-year plan? I know if I was in a planning council, I would probably sit down and go, okay, let's do it. Look the whole thing over. What needs to be done? These will be done in this fiscal year. This will be done at 4. This will be done at 5, and then we can work through it and have some type of metric of how we're doing, other than, you know, the old squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing. So I'm the squeaky wheel, by the way, so you can call me that. Anyway, Taylor Drive looks good. Taylor Drive, the north side, looks very good, okay? That was well constructed. It's gravel embedded in tar. It's been there for a long time, at least since I've been there. The only problem is it's not used very much, and that's probably why it has some cracks that need to be sealed. But as the years go on, the grass encroaches on the roadway. Now, I guess I can't ask any questions. How wide is a road to be in B County if you're not in the city limits?
Your pavement is 18 feet across.
It's what?
18 feet across.
18 feet?
Yes.
Okay. Like on the northern edge of, it might be paved to 18 feet, but there's only 13 feet of roadway, okay, that you can see because it's all been encroached. You see what I'm saying? It's 18 feet at my mailbox, so that's good. Next door to me, 14 feet, Bonnie Rigel lives there. It's 14 feet across from grass to grass. And the only reason I say that is, you know, as we all get a little older, when you drive at night, it's hard to see, and you want to stay on the road because you don't want to get off in the grass. You might be in a ditch or whatever. I don't know who's going to assume the liability when someone smacks one of these Dodge 250s with these big wide mirrors trying to cross, because in those areas you have to pull off to let another, especially the trucks get bigger by the year, okay? Some of these, like Abrams tank, come rolling down the damn drive. So I just point that out, that if we're not going to do anything, at least open that up, burn it off. I wouldn't say poison because it would kill all the horny toads out through there, but it's something to look at. 13 feet is way too narrow to have pavement that's visible. And again, probably be a liability issue if someone gets an access out around that way. So those are the two areas. Oak Hill Drive and part of Taylor Drive really needs to be looked at. Maybe I can find out when that planning meeting is and see when we're going to be next. I'd like to have someone make a commitment saying, hey, Rick, next year you're on the list, okay? That's all. I mean, I think we should be able to do that. The Chi-Coms have a 50-year plan, you know, for what they're doing in their country, the Chinese. So I think we could probably do a 5 or 10. I think we could probably work through that. And just a comment about the dogs, not that I know much about dogs, but saying that shooting is not the solution. That's also a felony in Texas. You shoot a dog, it's a felony. So unless it's killing your livestock and you're there, or it's attacking you, you just can't have a farm or anywhere and have a dog run across your property and shoot it. You could be doing some time somewhere. And not a question, but just a suggestion. When we do the cleanups in town, I think those are great, is next time maybe we could pick up tires, okay? Where do we dump tires? If I have tires, or someone that lives in town has tires, and they want to get rid of them, other than throwing them off on Airport Road, what do you do with your tires?
So just in general, and again, you have a lot of good questions and a lot of good insight, and if you want to wait around after the meeting, I've got Road and Bridge, my Road and Bridge supervisor is here, Ray. I would be happy to talk to you. He's in the yellow shirt.
Oh, okay. Well, you're the guy that has the brush guys, and kudos to you.
Yes, and, or I'm happy to meet with you, and we can get you the answers, that you want.
Okay.
So that's probably the easiest way to proceed at this point.
Well, I'll just talk with him. He's probably got the planning document that I'm looking for. You're the big picture guy, the 10,000 square.
Well, thank you for your comments this morning.
All right.
Thank you for being
Thanks.
here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. All right, moving on.
I know you won't welcome me back.
Come back anytime. Come back anytime.
Anytime. Everybody's good for something, even if it's a bad example.
I appreciate you being here, Mr. McCall. We all do. Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to make public comment? Okay, moving on, agenda item number 7. The following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioners Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I had, several tweaks that I gave the, county clerk on some minutes.
Excellent. Anybody else?
Anything ever say?
No, my financials are not in here, because the tax office is a little behind because of their conversion, so it'll be in
Okay.
next session.
Anything else? I'd like to, once again, I know I did it at the last meeting, but or 2 meetings ago, I'd like to commend Hope and the county clerk's office. Thank you, Nicole, for, getting these minutes, out. I know it's a Herculean job, so I really appreciate y'all focusing on that. Thank you very much. No further comments. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Moving on, discuss and consider action on the following items. Judge Bauer, are we ready?
We are.
Okay, then I'll call agenda item number 8, approve 2023 salary requests for district court reporters as set out in the 2023 district-wide district court budget. Judge Bauer, you have the floor, ma'am. Good morning, and thank you for being here.
I very much appreciate your time. Thank you, Commissioner and Judge. Under the government code, the district court has the authority to raise our administrative assistant salary and our court reporter salary up to 5% without the approval of any of the commissioners' court, the counties in which we serve. I know all of you are aware that we serve in 5 counties. However, if we raise anyone's salary more than that, it requires the approval of all of those counties. I bring that to your attention because we have to have the approval of all 5 of the commissioner courts to make this raise possible. And so today, I am appealing to you, my home county and commissioners, to allow us to raise our district court reporter salary. This raise would be about 10%. And what has happened is over the years, the supply of district court reporters, I mean, not just district, but court reporters, period, has dwindled to the point where we are getting outclassed financially. Nueces County, which in the past has always been below, their salaries have been below what we have paid, have now increased their salaries. Victoria County, those courts also serve 6 counties, but they have increased their court reporter salary, so we're a little bit behind this ball. San Patricio County did a salary survey, which is what has brought this to all of our attention. And the low end of the court reporter salary is $102,910. That's what we are asking that our court reporter salary be raised to. Our court reporters currently have a salary of about $89,000. So they are seriously underpaid. I lost my court reporter about 3 years ago to Williamson County. Williamson was paying $125,000 at that time. They're now paying about $130,000. The Valley pays starting $135,000 for their court reporters. It's a little harder to get court reporters to move down to the Valley, but when they're looking at $50,000 more in salary, they're doing it. When I put out the notice for a court reporter position, I got 2 applications. I held that position open for a year, hoping that I would get more because these 2 were not qualified at the time. And frankly, what happened is the court reporter I now have finally got qualified. These men and women have to have an associate's degree, and then they have to have the certification, and that's where the hiccup comes, because that certification, it's like learning a whole nother language. They have to be proficient in that language, and they have to be able to take those words down at a minimum of about 130 words a minute, and I think we've got one court reporter that can actually take down around 300 words a minute. Yeah, wow. But that, I'm telling you, it is just almost impossible. If we lose our court reporters, we
we can't function. And the only alternative to us functioning is to implement very expensive recording systems throughout our district. And I know that we've looked into just improving our microphones and improving our sound system, but this would be much more than that. And even given that, those recordings would have to be transcribed by a court reporter for the purpose of any appeal. So we still would be, I mean, in that case, you'd really be double dipped because you have this enormous recording system you implemented and paid for, but you're still having to pay for a court reporter at some point. The difference, I've talked to David Wendell, and the difference to B County this year is actually zero. There is no additional increase in the event this is approved by the commissioners, all the commissioners. Our district court contract for in April, correct me if I'm mistaken, for the proposed budget is $203,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, which is an increase of 8.1%, but that 203 was calculated by Mr. Wendell prior to the court reporter's salary increase being proposed. This came to us in May of this year. So the 203 already includes the 5% increase that we had initially proposed for all of our administration needs, as well as the other contracts that all 5 counties share. So it wouldn't make any difference this year. And as far as, I believe, a budget change, we're only looking at 1.1% again, even with this increase in our court reporter salary.
That's our share?
That's, yes, that is B County share. B County is about 22% of our district. 22.2% to be exact.
What motion do we need to make, ma'am? I've heard several things here.
We need a motion to allow the court reporters' salaries to increase in excess of 5% for this year only.
I'll make said motion to allow the court reporter salary to increase in excess of 5% for this year only.
I'll second.
I've got a motion in multiple seconds, so if you pick your favorite.
I
Further
have just a
discussion?
quick question, Judge. So this 203,000, is that still accurate then?
Yes, according to Mr. Wendell, yes.
Okay.
I just got off the phone with him right before court started.
Okay,
We'll double
just as
check
long
right
as I'm,
after this.
okay, just as long as I'm dealing with the same number.
Yeah, because he also mentioned the $187,793, which isn't on page 27 of the budget that I am holding.
Well, yeah, because the 187,859 is what we paid, you know, this year currently. We're-
Right, that's the current year.
Yes, ma'am.
For any of us that may be listening out in the ether, or anyone that knows a young adult who's looking for a different career path, hey, we do need a lot of court reporters, and not just in the courtrooms, but also depositions and other recorded components of the legal profession. And at $100,000, court reporters make more money than a brand new attorney coming out of law school. So maybe we need to get in touch with Coastal Bend College. Maybe we can create a little niche program that, yeah. So it's an unfortunate reality, but it's great for court reporters, and it's incredibly important to continue to be able to provide that support to our district judges, because I can imagine the mayhem. Yeah, we're very fortunate at the county to have Mr. Raven from Victoria, who's continuing to drive over to help us out. Without him, I'm not exactly sure what we would do.
Just clarification.
Mhm.
Did we say in this current budget or the upcoming budget?
Upcoming budget.
It should say upcoming budget,
Yes.
if we did not say that.
Okay, so if there's a need to amend the motion, that, was there
I'll amend the second.
no need to amend it?
Okay.
I just added.
Okay.
Thank you so much for presenting this morning, Judge Bauer. Is there anything further?
No, there's not. Thank you very much.
Any other questions, discussions? If there's nothing further, then all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you again, Judge. Have a great
Thank you
day.
very much. Have a
Of course, ma'am.
Thanks, Judge.
It's very
Take
awkward
care.
for me to excuse Mr. Judge. I should have enjoyed it more. No. My apologies, Judge.
Yeah, we'll see how far that gets.
Thank you, Judge. Moving on, agenda item number 9, approve comp time payout request for the sheriff's office employees.
Move to approve.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I have a question for you, sir.
I got a pending motion on the floor, and open discussion, I need a second.
I'll second.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Haggard. All right, motion and a second, I don't know if, Chief Deputy Jones might want to go ahead and come up to the podium. Maybe a few questions, but otherwise. Good morning. Chief Deputy Jones, would you like to make any brief presentation before I open the floor for discussion?
Last time we asked for comp time, they had asked for, documentation. What I have provided is our in-house comp time sheet. And there may be a little confusion on there. Some of them say regular shift. Well, we work 12-hour shifts at the jail. That's their regular shift. And 1 week they work overtime, the next week, in a perfect world, they flex it off. But currently we're 8 or 9, depending on the week. Jail is short. Having 4 deputies short with 3 deputies short now, and we're currently still short of dispatch.
Thank you, Chief Deputy. Commissioner Farias, you have some
Yes.
questions?
Okay, I know the jailers they're gonna be a problem no matter what. Is there any way that you can get, when you get close to 200 hours, or maybe it'll help us on the payout, when they get close to 200 hours, it varies, it flexes all over the place, but there's like 2 on the jailers that are over 200 hours. Could you apply for those and get their comp time? That way it wouldn't be such a big hit to the court, you know?
Can't do that. I mean,
All right, and on the patrol deputies and on the other side, why is there such a variance? I mean, some don't work overtime at all.
which ones?
Well, I mean, I see zeros like on,
Some people are able to take it off. We do.
like
take
Derek
time off.
Franco's 0, Paulette is 0, I
Pauletta?
see a 0, yeah, Paulette is 0.
Yeah, that's admin.
Admin, but I mean, okay, so the only one that's 0 is Mr. Franco,
Yeah, he's patrol lieutenant.
so he doesn't get
Primarily admin job. Or
primary.
as he gets it, he takes it.
So who? This is the
Try to
comp time,
keep it
so
down.
how does that work with the 3 grants that are there? Are those paid separately or what?
Yeah, there's, unfortunately, the two don't. When we first started the grants, you could actually take comp time off and work the grant. And now with grant rules as they are now, you have to physically work your 40-hour work week before you can start doing the grant. So the reason actually we don't have more comp time is they are working grants. But you have to have a certain amount. You can't just have a grant deputy out by themselves answer calls. They can't answer calls. They should have backup. They can't answer calls. Being 4 deputies short, unfortunately, it's reduced. And with, at this point, nobody applied.
Is Lincoln's not, like more admin? I mean, he has one of the highest totals on here.
He's a K-9 officer. Inherently, they get, 8 to 12 hours comp time a week because of the dog, and that's federally mandated.
So he's automatically getting 8 to 12 hours a
Okay,
week.
It's just such a wide, I mean, this thing's all over the place. But when they come to us all at one time, that's a massive hit.
Huge hit. What I was doing quarterly, and it's been about 6 months now.
How about doing hourly? I mean, would that help? I mean, when somebody goes right at 200 or 200, a little over 200, apply for those comp time hours, and that
I
way
could
it's
actually do it monthly and bring a much more comprehensive spreadsheet every month.
that would help.
Needed.
But once every 6 months, when we see something like this,
Yes,
and then the amount of money that comes through there, that's a massive hit. That's a,
Because what we're coming into is that this money that this would be coming out of will not be available, I mean, next year, from all the changes that have been done this year. That's what we're coming up against. I see a lot of, I mean, because those sheets that you had were only March through May.
Yes.
So a lot of them had transports on them. We've been, you know, really over budgeted in the transport line, that you use US Stat. Y'all haven't been using them as much. What is the pro and con of
We
using
use
them?
transports for the most part. We use us at more than 200 miles away. If it's less than 200 miles away, we use our transports. They do it, and this is transporting to court, transporting to the hospital, somebody getting, injured in a jail, have to go to the hospital. To call them from Corpus to do that, it's just not feasible.
Who keeps up with the grants and the regular hours to make sure they don't cross the line?
Lieutenant Franco, myself, our admin, and Grace, as well as HR.
So do all of y'all work the grant programs? All the deputies? No?
I think that's,
It's volunteer.
yeah, I mean, you're gonna give us the monthly, and the breakdown. I think it all ought to be there. The Border Star, all the different grants that you do.
Was
and
it
all
Lone
of those.
Star,
Lone Star,
Border Star?
Operation Lone Star,
Yeah.
OLS.
I think all of that
There's
needs to be-
three, Border Star, Stone Garden, and OLS.
And one of those, doesn't, Mr. Franco bring a report once a year, of what they've done or whatever?
It's racial profile.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
that's
the
not
profile.
with this.
Okay, that's, okay. It's just that, on all these comp hours, it's
It's hard a lot, but I mean, being change over short, which we have, with the judge's attention, we have added federal inmates to the mix, to offset that. And when we do federal transports, we do get reimbursed. It does come to us, goes to general fund. It's okay, but then,
So do y'all anticipate this in your budget, when y'all prepare your budget?
no.
Nope.
It's
It's not worked in at all. We have a line item in 409 for,
mean, if it's
comp
coming
time
every
payout,
6
that's
months.
$30,000. So,
Yeah,
So we
it's
use
gotta
it
be-
out of unpaid salaries.
Right, because the comp time is accrued because of the lack
Because
of
of,
because of the
bodies
hole there.
and positions.
if we were full staff in the jail, we could work 12-hour shifts with chief courage overtime.
Yeah.
Then we would flex it off.
and that's
When you do
208
that,
hours
you do
annually, that if the jailers, at the 12-hour shifts, if they work, you know, just their schedule, they're automatically, earning 208 hours annually.
Yeah, but that's a given, that's something we can't control.
Well, that's what the 12-hour shift
Yeah,
does.
that's there already, that's,
And I understand that, I mean, as far as that.
yeah,
I mean-
you can plan for that, that's automatic, that's the number.
Well,
That's
it's
the number
not.
you can see.
I'm
But
just
it's
wondering,
not
Well, I know it's
so.
not, but it can
I'd
be.
like to see it monthly.
The full
Chief?
staff, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
we were able to flex hours off of the jail. but-
Can't do it.
Full staff?
you've never been full staff.
No.
Fuller staff.
Then when we're not full staff, there is money in unpaid, salaries.
Right,
to
if
pay
you
our
use
comp.
there.
So,
But it's gonna expire now. If we could get, when we get to that 200 mark, probably a little closer to 4 or
like I
5.
said, I was doing it quarterly, it stopped, because we took 8 positions, and I was told that having documentation ready next time to come, and that's what I did. I waited 6 months. I can do quarterly, I can do monthly, sorry, you know.
We can talk about it after.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, I know it's
Actually,
a difficult situation.
I just put about everybody's here as you get to monthly, well, that's not too bad, we've been flexing it off a little bit, and we flex it off as we can.
okay.
Yeah, I've got some ideas on maybe different way to present it, so that we pre-answer some of our questions coming up, but we can talk about that offline. So, you know, create, put in the public a whole bunch of unrealistic burdens for your team to do, just because it sounds like a good idea in my head. Any further discussion, questions? If there's anybody out there looking for a career in law enforcement, now's a great time to apply.
Jail, dispatch, patrol,
Any position that you may be interested in law enforcement. we
Who
have
oversees
spots.
the program, the grant programs? Who's the gatekeeper?
I platform and oversee them. which, that's a concept.
Okay, thank you, Hans. Yeah, I mean, ideally, we'd minimize this number as much as possible.
That'd be grant, that'd be stuff.
Anything further? Thank you, Commissioner Farias. All right, no further discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right.
Motion passes, one nay. Moving on, agenda item number 10, approve Texas Department of Motor Vehicles imposition of optional fees for calendar year 2023. I'll take this one. Oh, thought, but HR was gonna jump in. No, I'm just kidding.
He jumped out.
Like,
You ran out.
Okay, if you look in your packet, we received a communication on optional fees. Candy, did we, Ms. Tara's not here, Tara? Yeah, but, do they have a recommendation? So,
Most of those that I looked at, Judge, don't apply to B County.
the third one doesn't. The first one could, I guess the first and the second one could, up to $10 and one, not up to $150. Is there a deadline when we have to make this determination? Yep, by Thursday, September 1st. Give her a shout. We'll put this one on ice, and I'll come back to this agenda item in a few minutes. See if we can get in touch with her, please. Thank you. Agenda item number 11, approve Triga Fire Solutions credit application for the B County Maintenance Department.
Move to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you. Agenda item number 12, approve Third Coast Distributing Credit application for the B County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 13, American Rescue Plan Status and Projects. Commissioners DeWitt or Lenny?
Judge, we have several things that are ongoing, but nothing right now, but we're having a meeting after the meeting to discuss the incoming money. Great, Ms. Grace, do you have anything on the bids and stuff on the Coliseum? That is a touchy subject right now because the bids came in about $100,000 more than we thought. And it's my understanding now everything is expired. Where are we on this?
Actually, I received emails for all three. I have handouts if y'all
Please, because it's something we might can take action on in this court meeting. Yeah, it's the replacement of that unit at the Coliseum.
Oh, the AC.
Yes, I'm sorry. We declared it an emergency, but we had some problems with the, our process for the
City process.
Yes,
Yes,
that one's for you.
Ms. Grace, lead us through this, please.
Okay, yes, sir.
Identify yourself, please,
Yes.
real quick.
Yes, Grace Victoria, Hughes County Grant Administrator. Good morning. Okay, so the first A+ Heating, their bid, had expired August 12th. So I did email Mr. Gilbert Moreno. Unfortunately, the bid is not good and he has to go back, because there's changes, so we're still waiting on him to get back with us. AccuAir, he emailed me this morning and it's still valid, but, he wants to, get notified within the next couple of weeks in case there might be price changes. And $173,000 is for, the equipment and installation.
Okay.
And then, Perry Mechanical Systems, there's also an update, but he could not, he could hold the pricing of $62,319 for another 30 days, but this price is just for the equipment, not for the installation.
Right, that's what we got into because we tried to see if we could find someone to install it.
Yes, sir.
It's not possible. Gentlemen, what we're left with is 173,437 bids that can do the job. And I think, Grace, correct me if I'm wrong, there is money from the ARP money to do this.
Yes, sir. Mhm.
And if we take an action this morning, we could authorize this company to move forward, because we've already declared it an emergency.
Correct, yes.
So my recommendation to the court would be to take a hard look at this AccuAir at $173,437 to get this done, because I'm afraid if we keep waiting or we keep trying to do this, that we're gonna be in a real bind and it's gonna be bad. That's all I'm trying to say. So that's my recommendation, that's my motion.
What's the, okay, we have a motion, do I have a second? A motion and a second to approve the, AccuAir.
What did you carve out?
Hold on real quick, please.
Sorry.
It's okay. I have a motion and a second to approve a bid from AccuAir Mechanical LLC for a total amount of $173,437 to be paid out of American Recovery Plan X. Open for discussion. Commissioner Fidias, you had a question, sir?
No, what had y'all carved out for this?
Okay, originally, we thought the bid was gonna be around $70,000.
Correct.
Well, it was the wrong size equipment,
Okay,
to be real honest about it.
no, that was
When they went and
where I
looked, it was
now it's
incorrect.
$100,000
And-
difference.
Yeah, it wasn't these people, it was somebody else.
Do we know what the turnaround time is on this? Is this a 30 or 50 week?
No,
30
this one is
turnaround?
quicker, from what we
We
understand.
actually don't know, I didn't get that, information, but I'm pretty sure it's like the other two, at like 30 weeks. The other one is 32 weeks, one of them is 32 weeks, and the other one is 37. So I can definitely get an
Well,
estimate,
It's kinda
but
like,
we just need to, like,
it's kinda like when you need to go to the dentist when you got toothache.
but how long?
We can keep asking questions, but we still gotta get it done.
Right.
Any further
Would you-
discussion? Go ahead.
Well, I was wondering if y'all wanted to call, Mr. Harris, maybe he can,
We can keep complicating this, or we can do it. And I appreciate what you're saying, but we've been fiddling with this now for several months.
Is there still enough money in the first tranche?
There's still enough money, and yes, there is enough money. There's money to cover this.
Correct.
In the first tranche, there is.
Yep.
Yes.
Now, you're telling me the first A plus, they couldn't guarantee it to be this price, it would be more.
it could be more, it could be less, we don't know, but he's, because of the changes and the 2023, prices, maybe those will change.
But, I mean, that would be nice to use the local, if we could.
Well,
I was gonna say, yeah, you know, how, actually, give us a definite,
Now, I'd like to see if he could,
just see what it compares to the 173.
If
We don't have
can do it-
anything to compare,
I'm sorry?
because there's nothing to compare.
There really isn't nothing to compare.
We have
I mean, unless it's free.
173,000, we can compare. No other local bidding?
No, it's too big.
Too big?
I did contact the local, and we gave them plenty of time to send in their bids,
Anyone?
he didn't send it.
Somebody bring one, sorry. I'm just saying, we know this one is 173, is it, a short bid. It'd be nice to see what the Gilbert would do, what his bid is
See, his was
compared
good,
to that.
his was good till August 12th, but like I say, we keep, time is not our friend in this deal.
Well, if he can get it to us in the next, I mean,
Yeah,
few
'cause, I mean,
days,
we could-
can that
we
be
could pass
something
on
that's
this-
worked in the
We can
motion?
pass on this item right now and go back to the other item, and while we get in touch with him, just, if we fiddle around, I'm afraid we're gonna lose it all.
But if we give it a few days, then go with the one that,
And go to the local.
the local,
and local.
yeah.
Well, can we call him right now and say we need a number, that we're making a decision?
For A plus,
Yes,
oh, he's not, he says the bridge prices is current, but it's not correct. So, I mean, he said he will get with us as soon as possible, as soon as he gets with his, manufacturer or vendor. So, I don't think he'll, I mean, we can call him, I don't have a number.
the number's on here.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Oh, yes, no, it doesn't. Doesn't say it on there. John, you don't have, Mr. Gilbert Norton?
I've got his number, I just, don't you? Yeah, I just don't know what this.
one a week.
If you could do it all in a day.
That's a decision we need to make today, right now.
If it can't wait till next
It really can't.
regular schedule.
I'm afraid that if we wait,
When does this actuary expire, or does it not? Does he got a date on it? Which one?
He
The
gave us a couple of
173?
weeks. He said, it's valid until, if we can make a decision within the next couple of weeks
Oh, okay.
for action.
The number for
Yeah.
his life? Well, I mean, I just, it's great fun to talk to.
Yeah,
I mean, talk to
there's
them.
a precedent for 15 days.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I'm carried in here.
proposal date is,
Can you put it on my email? My phone.
Yeah, but on there.
What's that?
So the proposal date for actuary?
August 19th.
So you have 15 days from August 19th to that.
Well, that's the last email, it actually may have been a response. Or reply.
When is this 15-day start, Grace?
Today,
Today? Oh, it starts today. Okay.
that's when he emailed me this morning. I emailed him on Friday.
Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Price is good, 15 days from date of proposal.
Approving something? Not before the end of the year.
I don't know, I'd like to see what his
Thank
local
you.
bid is, and someone here in town, you have an issue, you're not calling San Antonio, we can get here,
That's, yeah.
you call him, he's right there.
I'd like to check it out this afternoon.
Yeah.
There's updated bid.
And there's some perks to it.
I have a pending motion on the floor, unless there's a request by the maker to withdraw that, we can go forward with
I would recommend before I withdraw it that we call A+, and if we have to recess a few minutes, we need to move on this as soon as possible.
I don't have a problem with that, brief recess. I think largely the agenda is mostly done.
Yes.
That
That way Mike can get something today. Tell him we're trying to make a decision, we need his number.
I've got his number, I can
Okay.
give it to Ms. Grace. See how I do this. Pending motion.
It's just if he's doing it, no, don't give us the number.
Well, but let's put him on notice that we've gotta have something. And,
Oh, when he can get it,
well,
get it.
we need it,
Before the 15 days are up.
Right.
no,
If
let me
he can get
finish.
it, if he can
We
get
need
to
it
us.
today if we possibly can. If you give them, another 15 days or 10 days, they're gonna use up time. Try to put him on the spot, if you will, very gently. We're trying to make a decision today. Can he give us a decision? He may need to make a couple of phone calls and call us back in 30 minutes.
That's a problem that I'm having on.
Well, I can withdraw the motion if we take a recess.
Yeah.
Let me withdraw my motion, and, if you would, and ask for a recess on this item and phone call.
We've got a request to withdraw motion. Who made the second?
I'll withdraw my second.
Okay, thank you. Is there any objection to that?
No.
All right, that's done, and, that'll open us back up. We will go, we'll round the wagon and come back to agenda item number 13 in just a moment. Ms. Grace here is the telephone number of which we spoke. We'll go back up to agenda item number, 10, which is approved Texas Department of Motor Vehicles imposition of optional fees for calendar year 2023. We did get some information back from the tax assessor's office. The tax assessor's recommendation is to go with option A, which is keep the same optional fees. Is that, see that as being an option, but, oh, okay, you guys don't have the second page of this letter, which is the where we select. Oh, it says it down here, please complete, if your county will keep the same optional fees, please select option A. We are already at $10, for road and bridge fee. We do not, do the, child safety fee, and the third one, as Commissioner DeWitt noted, does not apply to our county.
Move to approve option A of this proposal.
Thank you, sir. I have a motion, multiple seconds. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, Jim. We'll go into recess, for about 5 minutes. We'll reconvene at, our 8 minutes. We'll reconvene at 10:25.
Chief, is Tricia working right now? No.
Ms. Edwards, is this
born ready to just, too. That makes me want we recording too, in case the video fails. Okay, going back in, back from recess. We were, previously, earlier, this morning, we were discussing agenda item number 13, the American Rescue Plan ARP status of projects. We're going to, return back to that agenda item. Commissioner DeWitt, you want to, go ahead and kind of give us a brief update of?
Yes, Judge, we've looked at this. Ms. Grace has made a few phone calls. We're waiting to hear back from our local, heating and cooling dealer here in Beeville County. I think the thing that I would recommend to the court is that we postpone any action on this at this time, and, once we get some information back from our local dealer, call a special meeting with 72-hour notice and make a firm decision on, awarding the contract.
Okay. Well, no, there's no motion. We don't need any motion. It's just, just a status update. Is there anything else, with respect to ARP? I know we kind of got off on this because of the emergency nature of it.
Yes and no. We have some funds remaining in ARP that are obligated. I think there's a few things that haven't been purchased yet. There's a vehicle for, emergency management. I think that, we've gone after bids twice and didn't get any bids, so what is it now? Ms. Grace, what's our procedure right now?
Our grant administrator, GrantWorks, with Angela, she advised that we could go ahead, and also their vehicle is out of commission, it needs to be repaired. So because of that, we could go ahead and move forward and purchase from a dealership.
Does it have to be co-op? Or she said now with the emergency situation?
I think I'm not sure, that I don't know.
We're still trying to figure that out,
Okay.
because it is an emergency situation now, because of the failure of their vehicles, both of the ones they have. And so since we had two no bids, we could go through a co-op, but now she threw this out as this last one that we could possibly do, local vendors. So that's what we're still trying to find out, because I don't think.
Oh, actually, on my notes, Byboard and HGAC have an order lock till October and November. So we don't know if, and then after that, it'll be 20 more weeks. So that's why she said we could go ahead and go through a dealership.
Okay.
That way we can go
We
ahead.
have a comment back here?
Made a phone call to, where was that? No.
It's a dealership somewhere.
Okay, we did find the vehicle. And
We're,
yes. So they have one coming in a week, and they said that it'll probably be sold about a day or two after it hits the lot. But he let us know about it, so, if we can move forward on that one. And it's an extremely good price.
What is the price?
For the truck itself, I want to say 67. Oh, no.
67,799,
what is it? What kind of truck?
It's a 4x4 diesel,
2022.
Chevy,
Silverado.
2022. They're giving us a $7,000 discount because of the county. And on there it says tax, so I'm sure once we go through that, we'll take off that other. But we've exhausted every federal regulation, every state requirement, and they're just not to be had. So.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got that vehicle pending. Is there anything else, Ms. Grace, that's obligated or pending in that existing tranche of money?
Yeah, the BDA,
This sure says, can you give us an update, the court an update on that, sir?
the engineer is, we had a conference in the auditor's office there. What the engineer is proposing for that size of, lift system is I think it was gonna cost $250,000 or $255,000. If we get the other $55,000 and have a shovel-ready plan to present it, he has grant money that they're gonna go after. And I think Ms. Leach, Angela was all in favor of that once she got everything in. So she was questioning first the price of the engineering, because she has 3 other lift stations. And then when she told them, well, these are just neighborhood lift stations, and then goes, this is a commercial facility with the intake lines, and the city already gave them the diameters to tie into the city. She go, okay, I understand why. prices that way. So I'm gonna bring him onto the court on the next court meeting, and he'll explain to the court why I have a paperwork showing his backup.
So I guess the main thing, it's all moving forward because time is so critical with government, and first thing you know, we're 6 months, 8 months down the road. So,
Yes, sir.
anything else?
And I believe, talking to Ryan, from Mr. Mercer, has sent an email out that he is going to send someone to do a soil sample out at the Coliseum.
Sometimes it's
That's on the new EOC bill.
Yes.
Oh, for the, okay.
It's my understanding also that the stakes are there as to where the building's gonna go. And there is some, a couple of things that need to be removed, and that's is that up to the county to remove those, the chute, and possibly?
Talked to John about that, he's trying to find someone that can come in and will take that, so that none of us are actually messing with it.
Take what? Do that or?
There's something to be taken out, that shoots everything from the stands
The stands and the chutes.
to the chutes, and the big pipes that are in the ground on that other side.
So we had that one guy that came in a few months ago, remember, I told y'all, and y'all said, no, you wanted to sell it or whatever. He offered to take it for a pretty cheap price, but he wanted material.
I think you let someone come in and actually take it, and if that is their pay, they can take that metal and
I know somebody who did that. I'll give you the number.
they must have paying someone, and let them, you can all just say, you're gonna do it, and have all the material. That's a lot of good metal in there. Lots of good metal.
Great. Anything else? Now, we're gonna have go ahead, Greg.
Oh, okay. For the EOC radios, Angela gave us the go-ahead for Mr. Willow to get quotes. And for Skidmore Water, Lisa is getting direction from her board whether to go and buy portable generators or permanent. The reason she's going for, she might get portable is for repairs. She has a really hard time for repair, people to come and repair her. So what she wants is for her to, load the generator and take it to San Antonio or Corpus to get them repaired ASAP. So there won't be any, water issues.
And we're still waiting, possibly next month, that another $3 million check will come in.
Yes.
It's in the mail.
Checks in the mail. 2 checks in the mail, right?
No.
And we're gonna have an ARP meeting after the meeting, so we have several important things to discuss. Judge, I think that concludes what we have for you right now on ARP, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner, and everybody else who participated in that. There's no action to be taken at this time on agenda item number 13. Moving on to agenda item number 14, update, discussion, and possible action regarding P County COVID-19 status, preparedness, and contingency planning. Mr. Willow, you have the floor, sir.
Michael Willow, COVID-19 mitigation. Well, the last month, since I've made an appearance here, we've had several calls, people looking for free COVID testing. We haven't had that in B County since the government stopped subsidizing the testing. So we've been sending them to the self-test places where they can purchase them from H-E-B or Walmart, and then also showing them where they can get their free from the federal government from the website. Surprisingly, I'm getting calls about monkeypox. None in B County. I'm studying up on it a little bit, just looking at it so I don't sound foolish when I'm trying to give them advice or what to look for type thing. So we've received anywhere from 15 to 20 calls a week now for COVID-related issues.
So it's slowed down quite a
Oh,
bit.
yeah, it has slowed down. And like I said, there is no way to identify how many active cases we have in B County, because now the self-test, nobody reports it. But anyway,
Any hospitalization?
none. There has been no hospitalizations.
That's great. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Willow.
Good job.
Moving on, we do not have any executive session this morning, so move on to agenda item number 15, adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Somebody just doesn't want to leave. I've got a motion and a second.
I did my part. That's
All
all
those
that
in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That
Okay,
guy can
motion
stay.
passes unanimously. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for your time. Thank you all, commissioners.